according to the LDS Church, how many gods are there? One? Oh, no, there's definitely more than one. Maybe two or three, right? Do they misunderstand the Trinity? Well, they certainly do, but there's more than that. Truly, we can't actually know. See, they state that we are all gods, just in a mortal experience. That is, if you ask some Mormons, others will say differently. But we're going to focus primarily on the ones making more polytheistic claims. So if we are all gods, that means there are at least 8.5 billion gods, give or take a couple 100 million. And that also means that there have been billions of gods in the past. They are certainly giving Hinduism a run for its money. But what I'm curious about is, can we find evidence for multiple gods within the Bible? If you were around for the live stream I did recently, you will know that Abu Nori, a Muslim, made the argument that there were multiple gods in the Bible. And at the time I asked our LDS friends if there was any problem with this. I didn't get a direct answer, so I'm going to assume no. Given that there is no problem with this, can we find other gods in the Bible? Well, LDS scholars say yes. Asherah, in particular, is one of their favorites. She is a Canaanite goddess from the pantheon of the pagans, and scholar Daniel Peterson, for example, claims that she is the heavenly mother that is believed by the LDS to exist. Peterson, in his article Nephi and his Asherah, goes through a detailed case in which he believes Asherah can be proven to be the biblical wife of God the Father. Now, that's quite the interesting perspective given how the Bible talks about Asherah. For example, in 1 Kings 18, Elijah goes to battle with the prophets of Asherah, and let's just say it doesn't end well for the prophets.
Like you said, only the strongest shall rule.
Furthermore, in Judges 3:7, we can quote it as, "And the people of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. They forgot their Lord their God and served the Baals and Asherahs." So, clearly, the Bible isn't exactly the biggest fan of Asherah. Now, you may wonder how Daniel Peterson squares that circle. Well, he says in 600 BC that Deuteronomists, quote unquote, which would be the people who wrote the Old Testament as we have it today, changed the Bible. He says, and I quote, "Thus, Asherah was basically removed from the history of Israel and subsequent Judaism. In the text of the Bible as we now read it, filtered and reshaped as it appears to have been by the reforming Deuteronomist priests around 600 BC, hints of the goddess remain, but little survives that gives us a detailed understanding of her character or nature." Now, you may be wondering what sources Daniel is using to back that up. I'm wondering too, because in order to claim that something has clearly been filtered or reshaped, as he says, it appears to have been so, you're going to have to demonstrate something before that is unfiltered or unshaped, namely the originals. Unfortunately, for Daniel's case, the oldest manuscript that we have for the Bible is the Ketef Hinnom, which is right around 600 BC. So his argument purely rests on the fact that the text that we have now does not agree with the Book of Mormon. That's just circular reasoning. He does say, though, hints of the goddess remain. So I'm going to put this challenge forward to our LDS friends. Find me one text in the Bible where gods beside Yahweh are not only affirmed to be on the same level as Yahweh, or El, if you want to go the Daniel Peterson route, or are even viewed positively. So find me one where they are on the same footing as Yahweh, or are viewed positively. If you're going to claim that El or El Elyon are either higher gods or at the very least on the same level as Yahweh, Deuteronomy 32 shuts you down pretty hard. So the challenge is, find me texts in the Bible where the other gods are ontologically the same as Yahweh, or where they are viewed positively. If you cannot do that, then you must accept what Isaiah 45 through 48 talks about, namely that God alone is God and there is no other, and you must accept what Christ says in John 17, that the Father is the only true God. The choice is yours.